Go for it.
Okay, we're in the middle of the first ride here, and you've had a really good start, cool down from after you run into Healesville. A little bit of ascending, but mostly descending really fast. And you get to the first climb, so yeah, we're nearly all the way at the top of the climb. It's really constant gradient, really good tempo climb. I found it last year as a tricky point. We had 5 or 6 guys in a bunch, and do you attack on the hill, do you not attack? You know, you get counter attacked, so it was all going through my head, and I decided not to attack, and we stayed together as a bunch all the way to Kinglake. So you've got to decide that as a rider. Is this a point in the race where you're feeling really strong and you want to make a bit of a move, or are you just trying to hang on to some faster riders? So they're the two extremes, really.
Okay.
What do you reckon, Pez?
For me, I probably found the ride the most difficult part of the race. Even though I've done a lot of riding, I didn't feel fantastic on the day in the ride. Definitely the first climb, this climb here is tough. It's a lot of descending. Advice I would give for the descent is where I went wrong was to chuck some arm warmers in transition. I was freezing on the descent, and then I feel that really affected me when I came to the uphill because I was really quite cold, so it took me a lot to warm up. So if you've got something warm to throw on, I think it's a really good idea to have it in case you do get cold. Apart from that, another thing is to practice riding downhill, because you can actually lose a lot of time if you can't ride downhill well. And so practice turning corners and all of that kind of stuff, I reckon, really helps, and you can really make a lot of time up on it as well. And particularly for females, if you find someone who's just that little bit faster than you, a really good idea is to jump on their wheel so you can save your legs. But again, don't get carried away with it and jump onto someone who's too fast, because then you'll burn out and you won't make it to the end.
Yeah, last year the time trial versus the roadie, and it applied to both legs. A lot of people don't think you can climb on a time trial bike, and then the same, they don't think you can descend on one either. It probably a little bit bike geometry specific, but I didn't think that was the case, and I used my time trial bike last year and had a great time. But saying that, I was used to it. That's my 100% time bike, and if you're not used to it, certainly stay with what you're comfortable riding. Don't change 2 weeks before the race expecting you're going to be fast, because you just won't be able to corner as quick. The position will be different. So really, at the end of the day, the times are pretty similar. The fastest riders, I think 2 of the 3 fastest riders, or 4 fastest, were on time trial bikes, and they were solo guys too. So yeah,
I agree with Luke. I wouldn't change. Just stick to what you used to. Don't jump on a time trial bike just because you think you should ride a time trial bike. I've gone from a time trial bike to a road bike. I rode a road bike in it last year, and personally I find it a lot easier to climb on a road bike than I do on a time trial bike. So it's really personally how you feel about it and what you feel comfortable on. So another good point in the bike is I reckon the bike's definitely the place to refuel. You get time to eat, time to drink, get your fluids up ready for the next run and the paddle. So I reckon it's a really good base leading into the rest of the race, is to get some food in. For me, I also think it's really important not just to get gels. Personally, my stomach doesn't agree with that kind of thing. I reckon it's important if you've got half a sandwich or half a bar or something like that to try and get some solids into your stomach is a really good idea.
If you've had a hard time on the first 2 legs, now it's time to have a bit of fun, especially from Kinglake at the top. It's a really good descent, probably 8 or 9k descent. Really good surface too, so you can really crank the bike over and trust your tyres, and average speed's well over 45k an hour the whole way down. So you'll be topping out on your gears most of the time. That's for about 9k, then it's still descending, even though it might not feel like it is. Always St Andrews, Kangaroo Ground, Smith's Gully, and still descending on a pretty good surface most of the time, so the pace is quite high. And then John chucks in a nasty little kick at the end, which takes you off the main road, and you've got some pretty steep pinches. There's 2 main ones really. Yeah, out of the saddle climbing, but they don't go for very long, so that's really not too important. But it's just really the descent here. It's fun, and you can make some time up. If you've struggled on the climb, you can really try peak some back here. You can easily pull back 2-3 minutes on a climb.